Hey, what's up you guys? Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. This video is about the idea that nothing is set in stone. So I'm kind of sort of like into quantum physics. I've been that way for a few years now. I'm kind of like dabbling and learning stuff about it. But one particular thing that has interested me, and which made it kind of gave some scientific backing to manifestation when I first started like conscious creating years and years ago, is the fact that waves, the whole waves and particles thing, I'll try to find a link to like an article or something that backs this up, but I definitely read it. I'm totally not making this up. But it's like everything becomes a hazy wave, and it's in a wavy kind of state until you put your attention on it, and then it becomes a solid. Now that really gives life to the idea that nothing is set in stone, and everything can be changed based on whether or not you put your attention on it. So one thing that really struck out to me is, and I feel like everybody in the world has had this happen to them, so it's something that you can relate to. Let's say you're like falling asleep on the couch, or you're falling asleep, you know, in your bed. You're looking at your room and things like that. The more you fall asleep, the less conscious you are of your room. And I noticed that for me, sometimes I'll be staring at something and then start falling asleep, and then it starts to get like hazy, or like you'll start seeing things. It seems like things are moving, or it seems like, this is a big one for me, it seems like the walls are like expanding, or like they're getting bigger, or they're like getting smaller, or they're getting closer. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things like that, when you're in your room, it just seems like everything is becoming way less solid. Now I actually put two and two together, and my theory is that because you're becoming less conscious in general, you're becoming less conscious of your room, so there's really no need for your room to be there, right? I don't remember who, I think it was a Neville post that said this, that it was like, or maybe it was some more quantum physics stuff, that it was like the only thing keeping everything together is your belief that it's together, or your belief that it needs to be that way when you're looking at it. I hope I'm explaining that right. So basically, if you're not looking at the particular thing, it doesn't exist, right? And the way that our reality is set up, it will put itself together so that it would seem like it would make sense for it to be there when you put that. Okay, it will make sense. The way reality is set up, it is presenting itself in a way that it makes you think that it was already set up before you got to it, even though it actually wasn't. And that makes so much sense. It's like if you're in a particular room, you automatically assume if you open a door and go into another room, that room is going to be there. You're not going to open a door and like drop down into eternal abyss, because you're expecting your bathroom to be on the other side of that door. So it's editing version here, and child, I gotta wash my hair. Gel is just getting whiter and whiter. But anyway, so as I'm watching this, I had a visual. I don't know if any of you watching this video played The Sims, but back in, I think it was like Sims 2, like, and if you play Sims, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about. When you play a particular room, if you were to zoom out of that room, it would literally just be that room that you're in, right? So if you were to zoom out, you would just see the makeup of that room. It don't matter how many rooms you had in your house, how many floors, whatever else is going outside. It didn't really matter. It would only show you that room that you were in. Even now, let's say you're like doing apartment tours, 3D apartment tours. When you look at the particular rooms or the house or whatever, if you was to zoom out, there would literally be nothing but darkness outside of the apartment complex that you're looking at. So that's the visual that I got while I was listening to myself explain you know, opening the door and falling into the abyss. If your attention is not on it, it literally does not exist. And that's just what I'm trying to like drive home there, because people tend to think that things are happening without their awareness, but it's really not. And when you finally do put your awareness on it, it has to make sense. It has to be natural. So of course there's going to be certain things that, you know, fill itself in that would make sense for it to have been that way once you got your attention on it. It's not like, oh, you turn your attention to it and then it starts creating itself while you're looking at it. No, it already is going to come with its whole backstory, because that's how our world works. So yeah, when we put our expectations on something, that is what is making it a thing. A lot of times we are hella willy-nilly, as my parents always say, we do stuff so willy-nilly, but we are hella willy-nilly when it comes to what we expect to be true or what we assume to be true. I am big on assumptions, huge on assumptions, because your assumptions are what govern your life. So if I'm assuming that when I apply for an apartment I'm going to get denied, it's not going to be a thing for me to, it's not going to be like a shock for me to get denied, because that's what I am assuming. If I am assuming that when I go into my bank account I see $5 million, it would be a shock to me to not see $5 million. But that's the whole name of the game, is to work on your assumptions. Now, when we talk about working on your assumptions, we literally have to undo a lot of stuff that we were taught as younger kids and like teens. Like, that's one thing I kind of envy about the people that are growing up right now, is that they have so much more information at their fingertips than we had. So you have more time to consciously create the life that you want. And in doing so, you have to learn that your assumption about a thing is what makes it true. That's why people always talk about, you know, there's 3 sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. His side could be the absolute truth for him. Her side can be the absolute truth for her. Your perspective is literally your reality. And when we say that nothing is set in stone, you can literally shift your reality by shifting your perspective, because everything is molded around your attention to something. So what exactly are you giving your attention to? Are you assuming that because this is the way that something is, that's how it's always going to be? Literally science proves that that's false. So why continue on down a path that doesn't serve you when all you have to do is change your attention to it? And I mentioned the whole thing about like quantum physics, because as much as we know about manifesting or all that other stuff, the humanity in us literally wants logic to back it up. And there's some instances with manifestation where science and logic will back it up, but there's other instances where it will not. So those instances that we have where logic can back it up, we're gonna hold on to it, and we're gonna, you know, evaluate that and go through it with a fine-tooth comb and apply those principles, so that when we do have to jump off of a leap of faith, we could be like, well, that was right, so this must definitely be the right decision. But anyway, nothing is set in stone. You can always, you know, like I said in another video, shift your mentality and have access to so many different things that you would not have had access to from a different perspective, i.e. your mindset, memories, talents, and basic abilities that you just couldn't lock into because you weren't the person that had access to it. So how could anything in your reality be set in stone when you have the ability to shift your perspective and change the whole dang game? It don't work. Like, if your attention to something is the only thing keeping it alive, why not only put your attention on the things that are working? You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a really quick video, but that's just something that I had in my notes that I really wanted to make a video on, because like circumstances and all the other stuff, that's something that you're trying to, you know, give life to when you really don't have to. Like, just go to the end goal and everything around it will shift and move. Like, I know that for a fact. Like, I've experienced it way too many times in my actual life for me to sit up here and be like, dang, there's a circumstance that, you know, I can't overcome. There isn't. So be encouraged. Assume that you're doing it right. Assume that every possibility that you can think of and millions more that you can't think of are possible, and for you to, like, you know, experience. Just keep in mind that everything is malleable. Everything about reality is malleable. Like, I keep going back to like my braces and stuff, because like me getting braces is so huge for me. Like, I've wanted braces since I was like 13, because I used to suck my finger. I wanted braces since I was like 13. If you would have told me that I finally would have had them, if you would have told me that like a year, even a year ago, if you would have told me like, yeah, you gonna have braces next year, I probably wouldn't even believe you, because I would have been like, how the hell am I supposed to get this? I ain't got no job. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't da 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 da. I have like literally the best orthodontist. I love him. And like, they got payment plans where I can just pay it off. Like, money comes to make sure that I'm able to have what it is that I have, regardless of what it seems like on the outside, because nothing is set in stone. The end goal is literally all that matters. So if that's what you're putting your attention on, that's what's going to come into your life experience for real. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos to come, and yeah, see ya.